Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. I'm Monish. As usual, I'm joined by Nishant. We had yet another great day of basketball. The Lakers, led by LeBron, lit it up, while the 76ers and the Heat game went into overtime.
Yeah.
But also come back from behind victories for the Indiana Pacers and for the Brooklyn Nets, led by Kevin Durant. It was a fun day, but I want to focus today on the two James Harden and LeBron James. They've been on opposite ends of the spectrum, haven't they? Uh, James Harden, after the loss to the Lakers, it was a total blowout loss. He went out and said that he loves the city. He's done everything that he can, but there is no real fix, and this team is not does not have as much talent. There is no chemistry, and all of that. LeBron, on the other hand, has kind of led his team. He is showcasing why his entire range on display, isn't he? And he's leading the team. He's kind of inspiring. He's in fact making a run for another MVP, I think. First up, let's talk about James Harden, shall we? You cannot complain about team chemistry when you turn up for the preseason in a strip club.
Yeah.
What is James Harden up to? What do the Rockets have to do with him now?
Oh, wow. Well, he's doing everything he can to force a trade, isn't he? I don't think his stock is rising. If anything, it's plummeting. Well, first of all, it's sad. It's sad to see the face of the franchise superstar come out and talk like this, and then John Wall, who's barely a few weeks old in the franchise, act
Mm-hmm.
like he's the face of the franchise, and he's that was very classy of John Wall the way he handled that interview. and
Yep.
and he was very honest about it, I thought, and he was quite candid and vulnerable, and he said, well, we're trying, but it's not easy when you've got basically this guy being a jerk, the superstar.
Yep.
And James Harden says, I'm sure he's tried a lot to make it work in Houston, but he's also at fault, and I've spoken about this ad nauseum. Like, what does make James Harden work? They gave you Dwight Howard. You said, no, this is not working. You got him shipped out. You got in Chris Paul. It was actually working until you decided you have some ego issues or whatever it was. And Chris Paul was out. And I'm sure at some level Chris Paul tried holding James Harden accountable for all of the transgressions that are now coming to light. And maybe he got shipped out as a result. Then he got in his pal Russell Westbrook. And they gave up pretty much their entire future and a ton of trade assets to bring in Russ Westbrook, and he's out in a season. Russell Westbrook, who says he's brothers with James Harden, who's one of the hardest workers in the league, whatever else his flaws are, he said, I'm out. This doesn't work. I like the guy, but this isn't working for me. All of this waiting for video sessions to start, late for flights, not working. He's out. And so when you say you've tried your best, did you really? Because a lot of this I would blame. I wouldn't blame, but I would hold Harden accountable for some of this, if not all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he comes out and says, I've tried everything, I'm laughing a bit. But then when he says, this isn't working, this team's not good enough. Well, first of all, you didn't even show up for whatever little preseason there was. You missed the first couple of games through quarantine for your own asinine behavior, going and chilling in some strip club without mask, breaking a bunch of COVID protocols. Then you show up looking some 20 pounds heavy, and I'm rounding off maybe. But I mean, you can see his pot belly, man. I mean, it's
Yep.
embarrassing. You're a pro player. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
And, and and he says all of these things, and clearly he's trying to force Houston Rockets' hand into trading him. But when he says this team's not good enough, you're not good enough. You're
Yep.
supposed to be this MVP caliber player, and he lit it up first three games when he came back. And we thought, well, there's James Harden. He can go to a strip club, do whatever, comes and drops 50. That's not good enough, by the way. There is such a thing as team chemistry. There is such a thing as leading by example, or holding yourself accountable so you can hold everyone else accountable. So
True.
it's not good enough that you drop 50 if it's not translating to you making multiple trips to the finals. Now, then comes his performance. Last five games, James Harden has averaged 16 or 17 points a game, which is like
Mm-hmm.
just atrocious, like 37% shooting, not from three overall,
Yep. Yep.
37%. His three shootings under 30%. Yeah, he has a bunch of assists, but this isn't Chris Paul. Nobody is looking at his assist count and saying, hey, I want this guy so he can set up plays for me. If you're
True.
getting James Harden, you're getting him because he can score 30, 35 points a game for an entire season on just about anyone.
Yeah.
He's not doing that. And he's overweight. And he's not being a good teammate. Like, what franchise would want James Harden right now? because he wants to go where he can win the chip. What chip winning, genuine contenders would want to add this hot mess to their locker room?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That.
Brooklyn were the front runners for a while. They have their own
Mhm.
James Harden mess with Kyrie Irving. At this point, you're just swapping strip clubs. You're not even swapping players if you make that trade. So I don't know. James Harden, just stop it. I'd much rather talk about LeBron James. What about you?
We'll get there. James Harden has not scored 20 plus points in 4 consecutive games now.
Sure.
That's his longest streak that he's not scored 20 plus since he was in OKC. And
Yeah.
that's terrible for someone like James Harden, who's been the league's leading scorer from the last few seasons. And when when you say that you want to get traded, there has to be some teams that are interested in you, like you said. But also the Rockets now, they have a total dilemma on their hands, don't they? Because you have a decent looking team there. John
Yeah.
Wall's looking good. Kristen Wood looks like probably the best
Oh, yeah.
most improved player from last season.
I'll buy
DeMarcus
that.
Cousins is there, so they have a decent team. It's not like they're a bad team.
Mhm.
But this can be a total problem where you want to get rid of James Harden,
Yeah.
and you want to ship him off. So what do you do then? Do you continue playing him? Do you bench him? Do you what happens there?
I think he's out, and I think sadly this isn't going to end very well.
Mm-hmm.
Houston Rockets were holding out for getting the max possible value for James Harden, right?
Yeah.
And they were right in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But Harden's made an absolute mess of this. Some of it, whether you like it or not, he's trying his best to get himself traded, and some of it is whatever. Already, you do your thing, you do what's best for you. But you've got to back that up with performances on the court. You're James Harden. You've won an MVP before. You've put up spectacular numbers for all this while. What some of the mid-level players, right? Forget about the MVP caliber players. Your Danny Greens, your Rondo later on in his career, or your
Mm-hmm.
KCP. When do these guys perform their absolute best? When their contract's running out and they know they're up for renewal or free agency, right? That's
Right.
when they ball out. This is James Harden. The stakes are triple minimum of
Mm-hmm.
that, where you're looking to go to a chip winning contender and you want them to give up the world to trade for you. And these are the performances you put up. Forget the team, James Harden, you're not good enough. For what you want, you're not good enough right now.
Yeah.
Nobody is doubting the ability or the talent, but I mean, it's not showing on the floor right now, is it? So he's not making it easy for them. So it's going to come to a point where they're either, what are their alternatives really? They force him to stick around and play. He's a hot mess right now, and he's only going to get sulkier and sulkier, and his fitness is off the
Yeah.
mark, and it's maybe half the season before he's back to his best.
Mm-hmm.
Is he motivated at this point? Now that's one, not really a desirable alternative. What's the other one? Trade him. At this point, a lot of the teams that were interested are probably looking at this going, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
The amount of talent that we have to give up, that Houston's demanding we give up for this, no.
No
Like
way.
the
Yeah.
skill is still there, the talent's there. I'm sure he'll work himself back into shape, but you have to give up a lot for James Harden. That narrows down the list as it is. And then with all of these issues going around in an already difficult year with COVID and all of the other mental health weights
Mm-hmm.
that are weighing down on squads, do they want this right now? I'm not sure too many GMs would be interested, except maybe Philadelphia. But why would they trade and ruin
Yeah.
what's already working pretty well for them, right? So I don't see this ending very well. I think James Harden's going to be traded at some point. It's going to happen. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the window has passed where Houston will get max value for him. I think this is going to be some sort of a cut price deal.
All right. Let's talk about some more positive news rather, or more refreshing news. Let's talk about LeBron James because he's always refreshing, right?
Let's.
He averages 24 points, 8.3 rebounds, 7.7 assists over the first 11 games of the season. Now, I remember when we did our preseason predictions about the MVP and all of that, we spoke about Luka, we spoke about Jokic, we spoke about Giannis even. We even spoke about Anthony Davis
80,
probably
yeah.
running for the MVP.
Yeah.
And we thought that LeBron would take a back seat, chill his way through the regular season,
Yeah.
and then switch on that button that he has in the playoffs. And then Lakers are obviously the favorites and all of that. But we never saw
Sure.
this. We never saw this coming, right? Him making a run for the MVP. He's putting up real MVP like numbers.
Yep.
We've been talking whenever Giannis lights it up, we talk about it. Whenever Luka gets a triple double, we talk about it. Jokic has been pretty much been doing that every week,
Sure.
every game, and we've been talking about it. LeBron James is doing what LeBron James does every single day of the week, every time he's on the floor.
for 18
and
years.
it's not even news anymore. And I
Yeah.
really wanted to get back onto that. What is his motivation? What keeps him going? I mean, he is incredible. How does he do this? And is he a real MVP contender now?
He is, and the weird part is I don't even think he's trying yet. Like this is just him. All he's doing is playing more minutes than we thought he would. That's about
Hmm.
it. He
Yep.
hasn't even begun to flex. He's not. His assists per game are down. It's lower than what it was last season. I think
Hmm.
it's lower than his career average too.
Yep.
Um, Points per game below his career average. So he's not even flexed yet, and he's already in the conversation.
Hmm.
Most odds have him at third or fourth in the running, behind Luka, of course, and Giannis, and the Joker. Now, it's true. I think we are desensitized, and we have been for a while now desensitized to LeBron James's greatness. It's so taken for granted. Year 18, age 36. Who the hell has ever done this? And he's
One.
he's still an above the rim player. He can still dunk it like nobody else. He's developed a real mean 3-point shot now, a logo three every once in a while. His passing game's as good as it ever was. He's playing defense now more often than he does, and he hasn't even tried yet. Anthony Davis, if anyone on the Lakers has been in chill mode, it's Anthony Davis. He picks his games, he kind of picks his minutes, uh, pops off in one quarter, takes it easy on the other. Maybe there's some fitness issues there, maybe it's just rotation experiments, and
Hmm.
Frank Vogel's having the time of his life with rotations. He's trying out so many different things. Lakers have still not shown us what their preferred set piece rotation for an entire 4 quarter stretch is. They experiment every single game, and they still have the best record in the league. Not one player has flexed yet on the Lakers. They're
Yep.
scary good. They're so good. We don't even talk about them all that much, but
True.
they're running all of these experiments, and they're by a mile the best team in the league. And a lot of that has to do with LeBron James. At this point, right now, he looks good for MVP. Luca will probably work himself back into shape. Those numbers will start pouring in.
Hmm.
But Jokic, it's going to be tough. You remember when we spoke about Lillard being an MVP candidate, and we said
Right.
if he can drive that team to a top three, top four in the West, now we're talking. Steph Curry,
Right.
same thing. Top three, top
Right.
that team, top three, top four in the West. Sure, MVP, hot favorite.
Yep. Yep.
Jokic, it's tough being an under 500 team. Maybe they finish 500 or slightly over, and then being
Hmm.
in the MVP conversation. That's a rare thing. You don't usually see it unless it's like a Russell Westbrook triple
Right.
double season, or like a Steve Nash. Steve Nash finished very high up, but
Hmm.
that kind of a season, even in a just above 500 team, yeah, maybe you could see it happening. So Jokic, unless his team's fortunes drastically improve, is probably not in contention. Giannis,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be voter fatigue. Three times in a row.
Yeah.
That's historic. It's tough. It's tough, and he doesn't need to. He's on a better team now. His team's a little
Right.
stronger than it was last season, so it's not going to ask that much of him.
Hmm.
So it's really down to right now. The way I see it, it's down to LeBron, Doncic. Maybe Steph
Hmm.
Curry is going to throw in his hat. He's putting up ridiculous numbers, and his team needs him more than any team needs any superstar right now.
Right.
And Kevin Durant, maybe that's about it. That's about the MVP
Hmm.
race. And LeBron's front runner for me right now.
Absolutely. And when you think of this, no one as old as LeBron has won the MVP. No one since Steve Nash has won the MVPs. No one over the age of 30 has won the MVP since Steve Nash in
Hmm,
2006, maybe.
hmm.
And these are all numbers that you've never heard of. So LeBron is like rewriting the history books,
Yep.
right? And I'm thinking, as surprising as it may sound, LeBron has not won the MVP since 2013,
Yeah.
since his Miami Heat days. And that's surprising to me. But he's gunning for glory here. And this year, when he won the title with the Lakers, we opened up the conversation if he was the greatest ever, and we compared him with Jordan and all of that.
Right.
This murmurs are just going to get louder, isn't it? If he
Yeah.
gets another MVP, gets another title, which kind of looks on the house on the cards right now, and this murmurs are going to get louder and only in LeBron's favor. And I think that's his motivation to just go out there and
Yep.
get it.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it, because right now his legacy is somewhere between Kareem's sort of career lifetime achievements and
Hmm.
Jordan in just sheer wins and trophies and silverware and all, and accolades, right? And it's
Hmm.
somewhere in between those. And he's right now a lot closer to Kareem than he is to Jordan, just because of how flawless Jordan's record is. It's a tough beat. But
Hmm.
a lot of Jordan's career gets whitewashed, and it's so speckless, his resume, that they
Hmm.
make it out to be in the sports media. But a
Right.
lot of the sports media is people that grew up watching Jordan, that were in their prime, in their own field when Jordan was in his prime.
Correct.
And the way they leap to Michael Jordan's defense, I'm not arguing against them. I think Jordan's the greatest too. But a lot of the arguments that are made and how quick they are to shut down just any chance, any alternative opinion that anyone else can be the greatest,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to change, because you will find a lot more sports journalists that grew up watching LeBron over in their prime when LeBron was at his best, and this
Right.
narrative over the years is going to change. A lot of this greatest ever goat conversations, these only
Mm-hmm.
happen on podcasts like ours and on the larger networks and ESPN and all of that, right? The players don't really care; they all have their own opinions. So
Mm-hmm.
so this LeBron talk is only going to get louder, and he's already building that career achievement resume that will rival Kareem. Maybe he'll even topple Kareem's record. Who knows?
Yep.
So that's pretty much what's motivating him. And another ring would put him on par with Kobe and Magic and a bunch of others. Another
Yep.
MVP takes it to 5.
Yep.
So he's really playing for that career goat thing that Kareem has going for him. And
Right.
if he gets there over time, all of these sport, and you have a bunch of journalists already that bat for LeBron being the greatest, that's only going to get louder. And in this era of each of those voices being amplified by 100 million followers on social media, it's only a matter of time before the world knows LeBron as the greatest player ever. Whether he is
True.
or isn't
And
is up for debate always, but the world's going to be convinced pretty soon.
of course, I mean, there is no right answer to this, right?
Right.
Everyone sees it from their own perspective. But that's LeBron James, and he keeps flexing, and you don't even call it flexing anymore. He
Yeah.
just keeps going in this auto mode, and he gets those numbers
Yep.
and gets those chips also, reaches finals.
Right.
But that was LeBron.